Okay, I think we're on Facebook Live. Let me bring up the document that Irving sent, and then we could begin. Okay, can you guys see my screen? Okay, great. So, Pam and Irving, thank you so much for joining me this Sunday.
Yeah, there
I
it
think
is.
this is maybe my third or fourth meeting on Newell Bridge. So for the viewers, this is a topic uh, that we've had about trying to improve the flood control, and this does basically make the bridge so it doesn't accumulate as much debris. And I think the concern of the neighborhoods or neighbors in the area is the amount of traffic increase and cut through traffic that this would cause. And so the council did approve the bridge. Um, I pushed for having kind of I think a safer bikeable bridge, so basically wider sidewalks, and thus a little bit narrower for the cars to kind of control for the cut through traffic. And so I just want to give Irving and Pam, you guys just a quick chance to quickly introduce yourself, and then we could dive into Irving, your document here. How does that sound?
Yes.
Okay, Irving, do you want to quickly introduce yourself?
I'm a resident and live at 1500 Edgewood Drive, and have been a resident at this property for over 30 years now. And I just feel that the option 2B would give the residents in the immediate area of the bridge more comfort about the traffic concerns and the speeding that we're trying to avoid along Newell and across the bridge. And the benefit of 2B is it has narrower car lanes across the bridge instead of the 14-foot wide lanes in 2A. As you can see in the drawing that I've got for 2B, it shows that the lanes are only 10 feet wide each. And I think the benefit of that is that it makes the bridge safer. I think there's less likelihood that cars will speed across the bridge. That will make it better for the people that are on bikes, clearly. And I think that it's just, the whole notion of the wider lanes, I think, would encourage speeding. And so that was the idea of having to be. Uh, and one of the things in the petition, I get your comments on that, is I point out that the city engineer, Mr. Ruiz, at the June 1st meeting was asked, I think on a couple of occasions, whether he thought one or the other would be safer, 2A or 2B. And he really didn't give a specific answer to that question. And the only thing he ended up saying was that 2A was the more typical. But I think clearly, if you look at this, the 2B with the 10-foot wide lanes instead of the 14-foot wide car lanes would just make it safer. It would force everybody to slow down in crossing the bridge. And, and of course, the benefit is that you've satisfied both the flood control people, which we all understand why that's important, and you also satisfy the people with traffic concerns. So I just think that it would really be helpful to bring the whole community together rather than having a division between the two groups. By having 2B approved, it would not should not delay the project in any way. And in addition, should not negatively impact funding of the bridge. So I think it really makes sense for the community to unite behind this, and hopefully can get the city council to give this consideration at a next upcoming meeting.
Okay, thank you, Irving. Pam, do you want to say a few words? Just quickly introduce yourself and then give your perspective.
My name's Pamela Wagner. I'm in Crescent Park as well. I'm Irvin, I spend a lot of time talking about this, so we're in alignment on this, along with another 100 homes, not even people, but homes that are in agreement with us that we have that have signed a petition already, and that's in 48 hours. They signed that petition in 48 hours. I'm sure we can go deeper than that. I also wanted to point out one other thing too. On the June 2nd, there was a Palo Alto Online article written about the bridge, and lots of people, of course, commented on that article. And in particular, Norm Beamer, who's head of the CPNA, commented it, and he said he would be fine with option 2B as well. So we believe there is and won't have a problem getting support.
Yes.
From the 1,400 residents he says that he's representing.
Yes, he's the president of the Crescent Park Neighborhood Association, and I think we had a lot of responses on the first petition from people that were members of the Crescent Park Neighborhood Association that are also people that were concerned about flood control. So I think we could get a significant number of signatures on this joint draft petition, and happy to submit that for consideration by the council. Greg, do you have any comments on the wording of the draft or anything that you might make it stronger?
Sure. So, Pam, is this the petition that you said hundreds of people have to sign within 48 hours?
Yeah, we have a petition in it. Yeah, and yes.
Okay, so this is the version of the petition that has been signed?
No, I waited until we had this second
Oh.
conversation. Since you asked for this meeting, I wanted to make sure we're on the same page with the
Sure.
wording, and I did revise this compared to the first draft I sent you, because the first one had an alternative of putting a concrete barrier down the middle of the bridge under 2A, but you felt that might cause engineering changes, and so you recommended just going with the recommendation for 2B, and so that's why I revised this, and Pam and Ben and Janie Forn looked at this version, and I think they're all happy, and just want to get your feedback on it, or whether you think there should be any changes, and then we'll go forward and get those petitions in the next week or so and get those into the council.
Okay, great. So let's just walk through this. So I think this is good. This gives people kind of a history about what's happening, which is good. I think one thing that you may want to mention in here, I don't see it in here right now, would be, and I think this has to be very short. So I think it's kind of like right length. So I know that we don't have too much, but I think the reason why this was kind of like a late breaking option, right? Having option A or option B, and this, I think most people in the community didn't even know about this until the meeting, right? And so
Yes.
had people known about it, most people would have rallied around B. I think the thing was that a lot of people wanted the flood control, right? That was kind of like a big deal, was a flood control. But I don't think, except for the people that are on Newell or in this neighborhood, really were that, had that strong of an opinion whether there's A or B, right? I think
I don't agree with that. Pretty much any mom who's got a kid at Pali, Jordan, Castellea, Duveneck, those families are really the ones, and they're scattered all over Crescent Park.
Good point. Actually, Janie, thank you for joining. We're just talking about Newell Bridge. I was wondering, everyone else has already done this, but do you want to quickly just introduce yourself and give your opinion about this topic?
All right. I got throughout the year that since 2014, I have followed the progress of this bridge proposal. Like everyone else, the first reaction is, yes, the flooding need to be taken care. But the second reaction is the super bridge is way too big, whatever the regional proposal. So over the years, it's not very transparent on how the city going to go about to making that decision. Until recently, that decision are finally made. So I got really involved in proactive asking the neighborhood what their opinion is, if they support a smaller bridge, and that was pretty overwhelmingly most, I mean, well, at least over the weekend, like I said, in June 1st meeting, about 100, family responded. Um, so I just got a feeling, like Pamela is saying, the safety and traffic issue, and plus obvious the flood issue are most important things in the neighborhood. Um, the way I see it is, we have the funding doesn't mean we need to build big, and that's where I am. I live about a block. I'm at corner of Newell and Hamilton.
Mhm.
So I firsthand experience a lot of traffic over the years. Of course, we have an economic boom, right? So there's a lot more traffic everywhere on University, Hamilton, Newell. So with that in mind, having a wider bridge just going to be not helping the situation. So that's where I am right now.
Great. I think your opinion is felt by the other members on the call right now. So thank you for that. Okay, so just want to give you that chance to say a few words. Um, so let's go back to your petition. So it might be good to mention the fact that I think most people did not even know about this option, right? Until the day of the meeting. Um, and I think, kind of as Pamela said, anyone that's a mom, anyone that has kids going over the bridge, would probably want a safer uh, way of crossing the bridge. And also, this is 20 feet. I think the current bridge is what, 18 feet or so. So this is only
Uh,
2 feet more wide.
Actually, the current bridge is about 16 feet. The
16.
lanes are each about 8 feet wide because I've gone out and measured them. So
Okay.
this would be 2 feet more, but still a lot less than the 14-foot wide lanes that are in 2A.
Okay. Yeah. So this is 8 feet or one car width wider than this one. More narrow usually means the cars go slower, so you don't have
Yes.
people speeding through. And so if you have kids playing in the street or biking, um, there's a study where if someone gets hit by a car at a certain speed, like at 30 miles an hour, I think you still survive. And, even if you go like to 40 miles an hour, just 10 miles more, the chance of survival is a lot less.
Yes.
So I think a lot of people understand kind of like the safety concerns. So I don't know if you want to try to add that in here or not, and just talk about, like, I think most people would have probably liked option 2B. One thing you don't really have here on here is what 2A was, or what the current proposal is. You kind of have this really complex stock diagram, Irving. And what I might suggest is, if you just use the diagram here, this is a lot easier for people to understand. This is what was approved, option A. But I think most people would have been okay with option B, especially the
Okay.
people with kids or people that live nearby would
So
really.
do you want me to use show both 2A and 2B, A and B?
Well, you're trying to make clear to people what the difference is, right? And this diagram here is has a lot of detail on here, which I don't know if it's easy for people to understand. I think this PowerPoint here is a little bit easier to understand. Like,
Okay.
basically, instead of 28 feet wide, it's 20
Can,
feet wide.
can you send me those drawings? I don't know if I have those or I can
Sure.
easily find these, but if you could email those to me, then I will include both of those
Here,
as
I'll
my
do
drawing
I'll do
diagram.
better than that. I'll send it to you in chat right now, so you have it.
Okay,
Everyone
wonderful.
has it. So I just sent you the link to this document.
Yes.
Um, and so basically, I would say, just to make this a little bit easier for people to understand, because they don't need to see all the
Yes.
um,
Yeah, no, that's a good point.
yeah. So it'd be like, you know this is what council approved, but
Yes.
everyone in the community wants this, right?
Yes.
And I think in the community this is fairly unanimous. I don't know. I haven't heard, except for my fellow council members, I haven't heard too many people say, "Oh, no, no, we really want to have a super wide bridge." I haven't I haven't heard. The only people I've heard that said they want a super wide bridge are the people in East Palo Alto. Okay,
Well,
but everyone
there was
everyone in Palo. So go ahead, Pamela.
one of the things that, Greg, that came up in the meeting was, all the Tinsleyite kids were coming across the bridge, needed to get to the schools. But the reality is part of the Tinsley Act program is they all are bussed over. So they don't actually cross that bridge at all.
Yeah.
So I don't know if we need to put that in there anywhere to cover that detail that was brought up, or.
Well, we want to keep this thing as simple as possible. But basically, I think I don't know too many people in Palo Alto would say, oh no, we must have this really, really, really wide road. And you know, on most bridges actually have protected bike lanes for bicyclists. Now again, this is not a very long bridge, but most bridges try to keep the bikes separate from the cars because unlike, you know, on a road, the bikes could swerve and, you know, kind of dodge cars. But on bridges, you can't, unless you go to the side, there's not too much place to dodge cars. So a lot of, you know, it's pretty common to actually have some sort of protected bike lane. In this case, the bikes are on the sidewalk, right, and protected by a curb from the cars. So it makes it safe, a lot safer for the cars. And it also acts as a way to kind of slow cars down. But this is going through a residential neighborhood. It's not like going through, you know, like, you know, El Camino or something like that, like a commercial district. It's going through a residential neighborhood where there's maybe kids playing in the street or, you know, whatnot. So so this seems to make a lot more sense to me, which is why I was pushing for it. But you know, I think on the East Palo Alto side, they want a really wide bridge, but I think since this bridge is being done by us, you know, we're using our funds to do. We're getting some funds from some agencies, but a lot of it is being driven by us. I think it should be kind of what's right for our community. Um,
Yes.
so, so to me that makes sense. But anyways, Irving, my only point is just maybe use a more clear diagram, right? Like this is what council approved. This is what we're petitioning to get council to change,
Yes.
right?
By the way, I had a question. In 2B, is it true that the sidewalk and the biking lanes are raised on a raised curb?
Yes.
Okay, so that's another thing that would make it safer because, and I'll point that out
Yeah.
because in 2A, the bike lane is not raised. It's only
No.
the pedestrian lane that's raised.
It's just paint, right? It's just paint on the ground. And you know,
Yes. And
one
so
of the
this would tend to make it, help it again be safer
yeah,
for both pedestrians and bikers.
yeah. I mean, one of my daughter's classmates, when my daughter goes to Green Middle School, one of my daughter's classmates got killed by a car, right? And so, you know, trying to have protected bike lanes whenever possible is generally a good idea, right? Especially on the bridge. So I think the nice thing about this is that it's a wide sidewalk, it's a protected bike lane. So the bikes, the kids on the bikes and the cars are separated by concrete, which is generally a better thing than paint. So yeah, so you can point that out. But I think just making it clear, and I think that the what's important is that this petition go to council, um, like with a lot of support um, and before this thing goes out for bid,
Yes.
because once it goes out for bid, it's harder to change
Yes.
because that changes the bid amount of the scope of work.
Yes, yes. So yeah, and you know, at the meeting on June 1st, there were, you know, Lydia Koo and Liz Niss and Eric Filseth all kind of had some things to say about 2B, but again, the meeting kind of got cut off because it was late and everybody was tired, and you tried to get some amendments and those were denied, and so I
Well,
just think giving this another shot is
yeah,
the right thing to do. And hopefully, you know, we can convince the council that this is a better option and safer for the residents along the Newell corridor. And that's really true for not only right at the bridge, but trying to, you know, make it clear that everybody along this corridor, from the bridge all the way to middle school, are concerned about their kids riding on bikes.
sure, absolutely.
Yeah.
So
Greg, what's the likelihood, do you think, that the council will take it back up again?
I think if there's enough community outcry, they will take it up. Okay.
So we
I think
need our petition to be heftier than 100, or 100 homes, 100 addresses, or we need more than that?
as many as you can get. I would say as many as you can get in your community as possible, like or in the area. Anyone, you know, I think most people in the community, like some of the people you mentioned earlier, probably didn't have a strong opinion A or B, right? They didn't live near there necessarily, but I think as many as possible and get as many people as possible to write in as well. Jenny, go ahead.
I have a question. What about the timing wise?
I think
Everyone,
this has to be done before this goes out to bid.
Yes.
So
so
Any thoughts
so
on when that
the
is?
budget I know the council are recessed right now, right? To
Yeah,
summer break.
yeah.
So for us send out their petition and to get reaction, and also the city staff, the group who's working on the bridge, where are they? Do you know where are they at right at this point?
They're probably putting together the bid package right now, right? So before the bids are approved, a bid will have to go to council to get approval. So you really want this really before the bid package goes out. I
So
don't
are
know
they
if that,
working this summer to prepare to propose to the council when they resume in the fall?
they're working to put together like an RFP to send
Okay.
out to contractors. So yeah, so sooner, but even okay, when it's really too late, too late is when we award the contract.
Yes,
When the
of
contract.
course, yeah. But what I'm saying is for us to send out petition, who's going to look at it?
Oh, the council will.
Even though you guys are at recess?
Oh yeah, we're all here, right? The only,
Okay.
okay, while we're on recess, I think all the council members are here. The only people who are on vacation is the staff. We're here. I think. I mean,
I
I can
understand,
see.
but doesn't take a meeting to get everyone to vote
Yeah.
versus,
So what it takes is this. It takes the city manager or the mayor to put this on the agenda. So either one of them could do that, or it takes three members of city council to put this on the agenda, two or three, right? So basically, what we need to do is make sure there's enough community support
Mhm.
so that council members feel like it's worth it. Because if the vote's gonna be the same, then why put it on the agenda, right? So I think okay. So this is another thing, Irving. I would like to suggest on your petition here is you don't talk about who voted for it and who voted against it. Okay, on this petition,
Say again, we what?
you didn't talk about who voted for which option.
No, do you think that's
That's
important?
really important because okay, you guys could talk to me, which I'm preaching to the choir. I'm the one who's been pushing for this, right?
Yes.
So you know, um, really the people you have to convince is not me, right? I mean, so on the
Maybe three
petition,
councils. That's why you're saying ideally we get three council to be on board.
well, to just get it on the agenda, but you can't win with three. We need four. Four, there's
No,
four,
right,
right?
right.
So what you have what so there's a couple things that have to go on. One thing is you need to get as much community support of people signing this petition as possible, as many people writing in as possible, right? That's really, really critical, right?
Yes.
Okay, and soon, because it's getting to be kind of late. The second thing is you need to get people to actually call council members who did not support this, right? So, Adrian, Liz, I forgot who didn't support it. I think it was
I
yeah.
think
So it was like
they're, yeah,
yeah,
age
Eric
fine.
didn't support, Liz didn't support, Adrian didn't support, Phil says, or no, I mean, the voice didn't support. There are five council members who didn't support. I think there's only two of them that supported this, right? Supported the narrower option. So what's really important also on this is when people write in, they reach out to council members who are opposed, right? So Irving's really important. What you have on here is who opposed, like who do they need to contact? They could contact me, but I'm already pushing for this, right? So that's not going to help, right? Does that make
Well, we
sense?
just we need your guidance
Yeah,
in
yeah.
terms
But
of
just I'm
how
saying
to
that
do.
you got to
Yeah.
make it clear as to who opposed it, so that they know who to contact, right? Because
Okay. So it sounds like you're suggesting that we should talk to some of the other council
you
members.
have to,
Okay.
yeah, you have to,
Okay.
right? So
And
you must
so
make it clear here who voted against, because those are the people you got, like people got to contact,
yes.
right?
So it
They can
sounds like
contact,
maybe we should talk to all the council members.
Well,
yeah,
not, yeah, we
you
don't need
can,
to
but
waste the time of people though who already agree with us.
yeah. So Lydia and I voted for this already, right? So
Yes.
you could talk to us more, right? But we're already on your side. You got to talk to the people who voted against it. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. Yes. Yeah. No,
Right,
that makes sense. That makes
right.
good sense. And by the way, is it true that the council resumes meetings beginning on August 3rd,
Yeah, so
holding meetings?
it'd be great for you guys to have this together before August 3rd, right? Okay, I mean, it'd be great if you get this petition out, get all these signatures. You can use a DocuSign or whatever, right? Get a bunch of signatures on this, um, and and then there's got to be like a letter writing campaign, people calling in to city council at general comment, right? And maybe what you should do is organize everyone to call in on, let's say the August 3rd meeting. That's a good target,
Yes.
right? A few weeks ago. On August 3rd, you have everyone that signed this petition, you have them call in, okay, and
Yes.
ask for this to be put on the agenda,
Yes.
right? And then you have the people as well try to reach out to the council members that voted against this, right? You can say, hey, look, these are these are the two council members supported. These are council members that opposed. Please contact the council members that have opposed and let
Yes.
them know, right?
Yes.
Right.
So we've got, see, that's why you've kind of confirmed the idea that waiting is not the right thing to do.
No,
We
you,
need to move
you,
forward
you do
before the
not want to
bills
wait on
are
this. If you
granted
want
and
to
all those things. See,
log,
that's why I feel, regardless of all the issues the council's dealing with, now is the time to act while
the
it's still in everybody's mind.
longer you wait, the harder it is to get this changed.
Yes. Yeah.
Because, like, for instance, let's say staff gets out the bid package. I don't know if they did or not. I don't think so because it takes a while to do that, right? Let's say they got the bid package. Staff is going to be super reluctant to want to
Yes.
change this, right?
Yes.
And so
Yeah,
it's not
exactly.
right.
So, by the way, I think that if we talk to Norm Beamer and get him on board with supporting this, he can bring a lot of signatures from the neighborhood association, since he's the
It
head of
would.
the association. And
I
the
think
more
Norm.
people we can get to sign this joint petition, I think the more power that's going to have with the council members. And I think the idea, as Greg is suggesting, that we have conversations with all the council members, or at least communicate with them by email. Do you know, are they taking phone calls like
They
you
do.
are?
That's what I'm saying. That's what well, not everyone. I'm probably the most successful council member because I really try to listen to the community. But so not everyone holds regular office hours like me. But
Okay.
this is also why I'm saying it's important. Like you say, here's who opposed, put their email, put their phone number, right? So it
Yes.
makes it very easy for people to, to contact, right? You don't want to make people look it up, right, on a web page. You make
Yes.
it easy for people on your petition. Say, here's who opposed, right? Name, phone number, email. Here's a message you can send them. You have a template, right? Here's a
Yes.
template of an email you can send, right?
Yes.
Vary it as you wish, right?
So Greg, we can actually write it for them and have them copy paste it the same exact thing to them over and over again, and or is that too obvious?
No, it's okay. I mean, just
Okay.
okay. So what's happening is this, it's like the the it's in motion to go with option A. Option A, and by the way, I wouldn't even talk about option 2B, 2A. Just call it option A or option B because people don't know what you're talking about, right? Just
Yes.
option A, option B.
Yes.
It's forget 2A, 2A, 2B. You want to make this thing simple. Simple and
Yes.
easy for people to do, right? So
Yes.
simpler the better, right? So option A was what was approved. 5 council members voted for this. You could put their names up here. 5 people put, this is what got approved. The 5 council members here. There's 2 council members that opposed that did try to do option B. You know, you don't have to contact us, right? We,
Yes.
we, we already you're preaching to the choir here. These
Yes.
5 members you got to contact really
Yes.
soon, right? You got to
Yes.
email them. You got to try to call
Yes.
them up, right? You got to try to get a meeting scheduled with them, right? Because what's happening is this is a little bit like there's inertia now to go with option A, right? And
Yes.
what's going to happen is it's going to take a lot of effort to turn back the other way, right?
Yes.
Right? These 5 council members probably don't want to revisit this, right?
Yes. No, exactly. I mean, the easy thing is to just do nothing,
Do
right?
nothing, yeah. So to get them to do something, it's going to take a fairly, and especially longer you guys take, more work you're going to have to do to kind of convince these 5 people,
Yep.
right? So
Well, the only thing is when I initially sending out the petition, I don't think the fireworks wasn't happening and the pandemic wasn't as serious and just everything just happened last, month, right?
yeah,
And people, I think our neighborhood people don't like bickering and arguing,
yeah,
having different, point of
yeah.
view, kind of tearing the neighborhood apart. I think that's not comfortable for a lot of people who reply to me.
I think option B, my sense, because I've held maybe 3 or 4 office hours on this. I think option B, I don't think people are going to be opposed to this. I mean, I don't think there are going to be people who say, "Oh, must be this." I don't think this is that divisive of an issue. I think the
Okay.
only reason why it's divisive is because East Palo Alto wants to have a white bridge, but this bridge is put together by Palo Alto, right? East Palo Alto is not putting anyone on it. There's no to having no manpower on this, right? It's fully controlled by Palo Alto. So, I think we should do what's best for Palo Alto.
Yeah, by the way, the bridge ends up being the same width, which
It is the
whether
same.
either of these, it's the
Yeah,
difference
just
is in the width of the
my,
car
my
lane.
opinion. My opinion. One is just one of the ways. Like I have kids, so I'm as a parent, I always think about this. This is just way safer for kids. Way
Yeah,
safer. I mean, also by the way, I bike this bridge, so this is how I get to Home Depot. So I can tell you for myself as a biker, I would definitely prefer option B. Right.
yes,
You don't take the bridge, the bike bridge. For
Which
some
one?
reason, I don't think this is the best, safest way to go to Home Depot
Oh no,
from
it is the
Palo
best
Alto.
way. The bike bridge dumps right off at Home Depot. So I go here. I take the bridge. It is by far the safest way. So I take this bridge, and then I turn onto this road, and then the bridge to Home Depot is right over
Oh, I
here.
see. Okay.
It's the most direct. It's the fastest, most direct route. So I loved it when he built that bridge because it doesn't get any better than that.
Okay.
It is
I
by
was
far.
thinking the other one by Embarcadero.
Well,
That's so,
that's a much further bike ride then. I mean, I
yeah.
could do it, right? But that's much. I mean, that's totally out of my way, right?
Okay.
This is by far. When I go to Home Depot, this is by far the fastest, easiest way.
Okay.
Right.
Greg, is there anything else that you recommend that we do besides the things you've mentioned so far?
So I think the language of this is really complicated, right? So I think
Okay.
you got to make it. It's got to be like a marketing document, right? This is a little bit reads like a little bit like an engineering document. You've got to make it really,
Bullet points. Get to the
yeah,
point, bullet points.
yes, yes. Make it
Okay,
easy,
got it.
make it easy to understand. You got to make it easy for people
Like
to
2 second reading, that's it.
yeah. This two thing doesn't matter because that's water. That's totally, you know, it's A or B, right? A
yes,
got two. You want
yes,
B, right?
yes,
Simple, right? Um, and you make it easy for people to act.
yes,
Have the contact information, right? Maybe
yes,
just give a little bit of like, I mean, you have like four people here, then people can think, why the heck didn't this pass? Then so it's not clear. There were five people who opposed, right?
yes,
Who are they, right? Who supported it? Make it clear, right? Really clear, really easy, right? You put a date of when you want everyone to call in. 6 o'clock on August 3rd. Here's a number, right? Don't make people go through a bunch of links to click on it, right?
Oh, you're talking about that part before your meeting where people can talk about whatever they want.
yes, yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Got
That's
it,
what he's
got it,
talking
got it.
about. In other
Put it
words,
in, put it
start.
in there. Make it
Yes,
easy, right? How to participate, right? Really clear. Maybe you want to even have to think of what to say, what to write. Just make it really easy for people to participate.
Man, you guys are going to hate us if 100 people want time on that beginning agenda. You'll
Well,
be
I
there
got to
till
say
midnight.
something. If
I'll be
yeah,
this
at
but
is
Matt
that'll get the
House.
message across.
if this is important, then this is what it's going to take because
Yes,
otherwise, the water like this thing's already been voted on. So to reverse a decision doesn't happen very often, right? It would have
Yeah.
been great if you guys had organized before this. And if you organized before this, I think B would have passed,
yes,
right? But I think the problem was nobody knew about B, right?
yes. And I think that's an important point you make to put in the petition that a lot
Yeah,
of people weren't aware of it and what the differences were. Uh,
exactly.
and so, okay, well, let us work on this. And your suggestions about calling in on the council's August 3rd meeting and letting them know we're concerned about this, we're working a
Yeah,
petition.
put it on the email. Make it really easy for people to do what you need them to do,
Yes,
right?
yes,
I mean, here's the other thing, and I know Ben was trying to look at it from a legal point of view, was I asked for this vote on the option to be split, right?
yes,
So according to council rules, anything that can be split should be split. And basically, the city attorney said, "Oh no, it has to be all in one. You can't just approve the bridge and then, you know, vote on the option, right?"
yeah,
But the really weird thing is that the staff recommendation for the motion didn't even have option A or B in there. So why suddenly does it have to be together, right? So there might be even legal arguments you can make, right? I mean, if I don't know if any of you guys are lawyers or know of any lawyers, but that's the other thing is maybe for technicality reasons, right? Because the motion wasn't properly split. I personally think it to me because this this motion should have been splittable because the original motion didn't even have this is not what you should put in the petition, but this is something you can also work on in the meantime. But there may be a technicality issue of why this has to be reheard anyways, because the vote wasn't properly split. So that's another thing to look at, right? So if you have any lawyers in the neighborhood, they could also look at this and see, because just for that reason alone, it may be a revote because of that.
But there's no point attacking him on being wrong on that. In fact, when
No.
I first called Molly Stone, and she wouldn't even talk to me. She referred me to Ed Chiqueta, and
Well, it's not. This is a legal issue. So legally, the question is, should it be split or not, right? And to me, if the original staff motion didn't have it in, it could be split because it's an add-on,
yes,
right?
Hey, Greg, when you guys were going through the process of approving it, though, you and Ku didn't stay with your position. You went ahead and approved it, and now
Because
it's 5-0. Will that make a difference for us?
no, it was 7-0. The reason why,
7-0, I meant.
no, the reason why is because I tried to push this before, I couldn't, right? So I said, well, let's split the vote then, and then the mayor said no, you must vote this up or down with option A, and because the flood control is important, that's why we voted for it, right? But I asked for it to be split, and Molly said it couldn't be split, which doesn't make sense to me because the original staff motion,
yes,
right, which legal reviews didn't have it in there. So why the heck does an add-on
yes,
have to be
yeah,
part of it? It makes, I mean, well, Irving, you're I think a patent attorney or something like that. So, but somebody should read the rules really carefully and see that if that's true. But
yes.
you know, I'm not. It's not attacking, but some people make mistakes. It was really late. We're like midnight when we're talking about this thing. So it's very possible that Molly made a mistake, right? I mean, it happens all the time. It's not a big deal. And so it's not trying to bash her. It's just like, hey, I think maybe, you know, maybe this thing was splittable, right? And if it is, then she'll say, oh, we need to have a revote. It's not a big deal. She'll put it on consent calendar or whatever, right? But that's
Yes,
another easy way to get it revoted
yes.
on.
And those rules are in the where?
It's on the city webpage somewhere. I don't know where.
Okay.
It's in the ordinances. You have to look for it.
And
But
it's a way you guys conduct business
it's the way we conduct
okay,
business. Yeah,
got it.
yeah.
Biden.
And the rule is anything that can be split, any vote that can be split must be split. That's the rule.
Okay.
Anything that can be split, right?
Well, because then you would show how the votes were as opposed
Yeah,
to forcing a unanimous vote the way they did. Okay.
yeah.
So, yeah, that didn't feel right.
No, it wasn't right. I think it was, but honestly, I don't think there was any malice intended by anyone. I think it was so freaking late. Okay, I mean, we were up like, so I think there was more about that. It was just like super late,
Yes,
and so I think that was the issue. Had this been 2 hours earlier, probably people would have had clearer heads.
yes. Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, I kind of felt like, they kind of forced that unanimous vote at the end, and that didn't feel right.
It didn't feel right to me. And Ben Ball, I think, was trying to chase that down, or maybe you were. I think, but basically, I do think that's a technical error that allows this to be reheard easily.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
so you guys should try to figure that out.
yes, yeah. Okay.
Anything
All
else?
right, well, let us go to work on this, and
Good luck,
because
guys.
I think we can garner a lot of support from, the general population.
Our target August 3rd. Okay.
Yeah,
And really, like really, don't let this go out too much longer.
yes, no. I think we've got to act on it. Okay, well, thank you so much,
Of course.
and we will be working on this
I want
quickly.
to help. I want to help you guys. So,
Thank
and you guys could
you
share
for
this
your
video
time.
with your. You guys are welcome to share this video with the link to this video to your neighborhood and try to see if that helps them explain what's going on.
All
Yes,
right.
Okay.
thank you so much for your time today.
Of course. Okay. Good luck, guys.
Thank you,
Take
Greg.
care.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye bye.